Hey everyone, this is Jennifer, and if you keep up with my stories on Instagram, you know that it's currently a snow day and I am trying so hard to not move into this daily insert day on 2 pages, and to kind of help take my mind off of things, I just sat down with my planner and got a different planner idea that I do think I'm going to follow through with, and I'll explain why here. So daily inserts, totally a distraction. I'm practicing restraint and I'm not going to move in until February. So I have an entire tracking section in my planner this year, and I really have been loving it. But I also feel like my setup is a little bit thicker than what I would like, and part of that is because I have so many things on jump bands. This particular notebook only has 4 strands, which is typical for a traveler's notebook system, but just to help reduce some of that bulk, I am going to take off this jump band from this insert, making a mess here, and put this back in this little traveler's notebook folder pocket and put it on this elastic by itself and remove that tracking section. Now I still need a tracking section in here, and what I did was I took all of the inserts that I had in this tracking system. This is a separate video if you're interested in the actual inserts that I use in my tracking system and my adulting log. I can put a card up for that and a link in the description. But I thought, why not take these and print them on sticker paper? So that allows me to do a couple of different things. One, I have this notebook in the back, which is my permanent notes section. The book in the back is my permanent notes section. And this is going to live in my planner for all of 2024. So I thought I could print those inserts from Crafective paper, the exact same ones that I've already been using, print those off on sticker paper, cut them down, and then put them on the blank pages of this notebook. The only thing that I wish I would have done differently now is I've already started this notebook for 2024. It has passwords and a bunch of other personal information in it. And I wish that I would have put all of this at the front of the notebook, but it will be okay. Just something to think about maybe for next year. But what got me thinking about this was I wanted this book log, and I actually had already put it in here, and I didn't mind writing on it, and I don't mind how it looks on the sticker paper on top of the notebook paper. So I'm hoping that this will allow me to have everything in this notebook for 2024 and reduce a little bit of the bulk in my planner and remove one of those jump bands, which in my opinion just helps the inserts lay just a little bit better. I'm really particular about how they lay against the spine and how they line up on the edge. Super particular. It probably doesn't bother a lot of people, but it does me. So that's what we're gonna do. I am gonna set these off to the side and get my paper trimmer, and we're gonna trim these down. Now, the other thing to recognize about doing it this way is that if you watched this video before, you'll know that because of how Traveler's Notebook inserts print, like I have the first 6 months here for this Hobonichi style forward tracker, forward planner, whatever Jade calls it, I forget exactly. I'll link all these inserts below as well. But I have the first 6 months, and then my monthly tracker, and then my yearly tracker, and then the rest of those backside of those trackers and then you won't get to the last 6 months of those inserts until you flip to the back here. So with this, since I'm cutting these down into single sheets, I can put them in order next to each other. So for example, I'll have January, February, March on the left, April, May, and June on the right, and then the second 6 months. So everything will be in order without kind of the first half, the middle, and the second half, which is one of the reasons I wanted to move to this route again. Now, I am not scared of paper. This is literally just sticker paper and my Travelers Company lined notes insert. So if I end up hating this, not a big deal. I have that out where I can just redo it. Put it, you know, this could be put back in my system very easily. I'm not going to throw this away. So if this method doesn't work, I still can go back to just having the separate section, but we're going to give this a go. So let me grab my paper trimmer. We're going to trim all of these down first. And I'm going to pause right here just to see how this is going to look on, like, for sizing purposes, I guess. It's going to give me plenty of room around the edges. I might cut my other one down a little bit bigger. Actually, let's do this. We're going to make a template for the first one. That way I'll know where to cut all of the rest of them, and this will give me obviously 2 of these inserts to work with. Grab a little ink pen and have that pretty much centered. Maybe we'll do this so that I can see a little bit better. I don't really do a lot of measuring like with a ruler. Typically this is how I do things. I just mark it with an ink pen and cut. And then I like that the branding is at the bottom, so I'm just going to trim very little bit off of that. And how much do I have here? We're gonna trim just a sliver off the top. And it looks like I'm gonna be right up against the edge of the inserts on the left and the right, which I do not prefer. So I'm gonna trim just a little bit more off of both sides. Let's see how that is. That's better. That's a pretty good fit all the way around. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room, but not quite as much overhang as this had showing. So now that I have this one cut, I can cut all of these down using this one as a guide. All right, so I didn't do all of that on camera, but you get the idea. I just literally trimmed all of these down. They will probably not be perfect because I get impatient, and they might need trimmed down again. But if they are too big, we will just pause and do a little trim. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave this page blank in case I need to add notes about my medical information, which is primarily what I use this yearly overview for. I did use Online Labels matte removable white labels to print in my desktop printer. I can put a link for that below as well. And then what I typically do, if I can get this started, I peel just the top portion like this. I do this with like the 7x9 stickers from Planner Kate that are meant to cover like a whole page. And then I worry about getting just this top part lined up. And then once I know it's going to be straight, I just peel that off and it goes down much easier that way. So there is the first printable on. I don't think it feels too bad. As I'm actually using my notebook and flipping pages, that might change, and hence my backup of just going back to the actual inserts instead of sticker paper like I'm doing here. But we're gonna repeat that process. So the next two things that I want are my monthly tracking items. So I'm gonna need this on this side and then my tracker on this side. And for this one, I think I would like to look at it this way in my notebook, meaning the task list over here, and I could flip this direction, but we're gonna keep it this direction, which might influence how I lay down my other inserts as we're going on through this process here. All right, let's give this a go. Like I said, this is the removable paper, so hopefully if I really mess this up, then I can just remove the sticker and try again. Just double checking that this one fits too. Like I said, if my cutting was off a little bit, I definitely want to trim before I put the sticker down rather than trying to trim the edge off after it's down on the notebook. Okay, so that's the next 2-page spread. We can move on. I think the next thing that I'm going to put are these Hobonichi trackers. So I have them in order. I need to make sure I start obviously with January. Now the trick on this one is that I would like to get the top and the bottom of this lined up as I put it down so that all of these lines kind of are flush and go straight across. Not bad. And then, like I said, that's why I like this method, or at least I think I'm going to like this, and I've never done this before, but now instead of having just this first half and then inserts in between, I can go right on into the second half of the year with July. So as I turn through the pages of my notebook, everything is in order. Still looking good. And then we can go into monthly trackers. I don't think I'm going to need 12 of these. I really think that actually probably I can fit several months on one of these. So I'm gonna just start with 3. And the whole process was kind of nice because now I have extras of these. So if I want to continue this in 2025, then I can just grab those extras and repeat the process. Okay, so now the question is, which direction do I want these trackers to face? Because I did make this yearly tracker first face this direction, and probably for consistency, I will want to do the same thing with these trackers. So I'm going to put them down facing this direction, and we will do one more and we will be finished. All right, so now I have my tracking section in my permanent notes notebook from the Travelers Company. I think that I'm gonna really like this. I don't know why I haven't considered doing this before. It was super easy, just like printing my normal inserts. The only thing that was a little bit tedious was trimming everything down, since you don't use the actual cut marks on the insert, and I really wanted everything to line up, so I was pretty careful with that part, and that took the longest off screen, but otherwise it's a fairly quick and easy process. And again, it's totally just distracting me from wanting to do these inserts now. Maybe we should talk about that too. Let me put this back in my planner. So that's just going to streamline this just a little bit more, like I said, how things lay. And let me just tell you why I've been wanting to switch so badly to these. I love my dailies in this notebook that I'm using now. It's kind of funny because in December I used 2 days per page. So like this would be Monday, this would be Tuesday, and that was enough room for me. And then for January, I switched to this, which is a day per page, which is basically doubling my planner real estate to plan on. And then I was considering my Hobonichi Hone, which is my daily log / journal. And here's the issue that I've run into. So I had been kind of keeping up with this as a daily journal every single evening. But what I found was that I didn't want to print the stickers right away, because I do print on my desktop printer and use full sheets 8.5 by 11 of sticker paper, and I do use a premium weatherproof, and the pictures look amazing, which is why I like to use that paper. But then, you know, I might have a week's worth of stickers or pictures on that one sheet, and I want to wait until the end of the week to print those. And then it's kind of hard to plan around or journal around a sticker where you don't know how large it is, if it's not in there yet. So I thought around this time here on January 12th, I was just gonna wait, print at the end of the week, and then go back and back journal or memory keep in this. But in order to do that, I really needed more information than I was keeping on my daily pages, because a lot of this is just how I'm feeling or quotes, and this is just events, right? So I don't know, I just thought in my mind, if I switch to this day on 2 pages, I could have my scheduling and to-do lists and tasks over here, and then with my bullet journal signifiers that I've also started using in my planners, if I have a note or a thought or a quote or a memory, I can use those signifiers over here on the notes page and kind of attach the journaling or feeling part of my day with the schedule, and that would allow me to go back and then print pictures, put them down, and then journal around taking the information from these daily pages. Now, that seems really redundant, and I don't know if I'll just go back to doing this daily and work around. I mean, it doesn't look bad in my opinion. It doesn't look bad at all that I didn't know where these pictures were gonna go and then put the pictures in after I was done journaling. I might just go back to doing that, but we shall see. This has been the only hiccup in my new system, which really doesn't surprise me because if you watched my 2024 lineup video, you know my Erin Condren planner was staying the same and everything in my on-the-go traveler's notebook was staying the same. And this is brand new in my system, and I'm still working the kinks out, which is part of the fun too. So yeah, and I didn't really use the weeks because I felt like it was redundant. So I kind of need to come up with a new purpose for the weekly pages, but I absolutely love my daily journal pages. And I think I'm gonna love having the memories in this book to archive at the end of 2024. Anyway, this video was all over the place. If you're still with me, thank you for making it this far and sticking around. I appreciate you, and I'll see you back next time.